sucks. So this is it. So this is to Dr. Bourla. We write in response to concerning information that has surfaced regarding Pfizer's donations to Dying with Dignity in Canada, an organization that advocates for medically assisted death. Pfizer has received millions of U.S. taxpayer dollars to develop cutting-edge treatments for some of the most critical medical challenges in our time. Pfizer's decision to donate to an organization that advocates for early death calls into question the values and priorities of your company. And it skips down here. It talks about just what Canada's dying thing is, end of life rights and stuff. We've talked about that already. So Canada's current law forbids assisted death for patients under the age of 18. In DWDC's opinion, however, the Canadian Parliament should extend the practice to 12-year-old minors, arguing there should be a presumption of capacity for these minors. It has come to our attention that Pfizer is one of the 9,000 donors listed in the 2022 annual report. As you may know, medically assisted death requires the use of drugs that have been not approved by the U.S. FDA for this purpose. Pfizer manufactures many of the drugs that are used off-label for medically assisted death, such as cistatracum, tracurium, besylate, diazepam, fentanyl, midazolam. In 2021, Pfizer issued a statement opposing the use of its products to administer lethal injections of prisoners. But the company has not released a statement opposing the use of similar drugs for medically assisted death. So get that. They won't issue it for prisoners, but they're issuing it for MAID. So then he asks a bunch of questions. So as Pfizer has received millions
Sounds like a liability thing.
Taxpayer dollars for all this, were U.S. taxpayer funds used to make the donation? Why was such a donation made by Pfizer and not the individual shareholders? Does Pfizer currently manufacture and or sell products that are used, regardless of whether prescribed by off-label, for medically assisted death in the United States or elsewhere? If so, does Pfizer support groups like DWDC in order to increase market demand for its products? Which criteria does Pfizer use to determine to whom they donate? How much in total has Pfizer donated to medically assisted death advocacy groups over the past 10 years? Will Pfizer continue to donate or other medically assisted death advocacy groups this year? So donate to DWDC. Has Pfizer ever utilized its donations to DWDC or similar groups as a justification for a positive environmental, social, and corporate governance rating, the ESG rating? So basically they're like, hey, the world's overpopulated and we're helping you, and we should get a good rating for that. If so, does Pfizer consider MAID to be a legitimate method for addressing climate change, environmental challenges, or social issues? So I want to show you
coming and going.
I want to show you the donor listing. So when I go to their organization page here, so this is, I mean, there's a whole bunch of people, right? Small donors, like thousands of small donors. Like it's got quite a bit of support for this. This is actually the PDF that I downloaded, and here's the organizations. I figured at the end they must show organizations, right? So Pfizer's in here as a donator, so they've donated money to basically to MAID. MAID is the program within this, right? But look at what else is in here. Like Medicine Professional Corporation, Farm Mutual Reassurance Plan, Google Ads, of course, Hemlock Society of San Diego, Hemlock. That's what they used to kill Plato. Yeah, TELUS, TED, the Retired Teachers of Ontario, the Mendelsohn Foundation. So there's a bunch of family foundations in here too. I thought there was another insurance one in there. Anyways, I'll go to this page a little bit. This is the history. If you ever want to see the history of all these legislative things here, it talks about it all. Like in 2021, a big one was this review of medical assistance in dying in June to study issues such as, no, that's not the one I wanted to read. This one here. This amendment removed the reasonably foreseeable death requirement, right? That's where it became like in this broader picture, right? So before you would have to say like, hey, I'm going to die in like 2 years. I'm suffering. There's no cure at all. Like there was a foreseeable death requirement. Now they allowed this for a waiver of final consent, among other changes. But I want to go to the About page quickly just to show you their team. Oh, that doesn't go to the right one. Our team. Staff, board of directors. Check this out. She, her, she, her, she, her, he, him, she, her. Only Ryan and Peter avoided the identification pressure.
For so far, they just don't know.
They just don't know.
They're not sure those two might be gay.
There's advisory councils in here too. Look at the First Persons Advocates Initiative Council. Anyways, I don't really want to get too deep into this, but I just thought I'd share some of that with you. What do you think? Pfizer donating and then making money off the donations? I mean, isn't that crazy? We're going to give you money for your program, and then we're going to sell you the goods so that you can, when you increase your program, we can make more money off you.